Alright, y'all ain't gonna want to miss this one. This is a video of a gentleman allegedly named James Harland. One afternoon, he saw what he believed to be a UFO flying over the New Mexico desert and eventually crash land. He decides to see if he can go out and find it. Well, unfortunately, he does. He ends up holding on to the item, and over the next few weeks, he gets rashes, gets sick, and even has poltergeist activity happen around his home. In spite of all this, he continues to hold on to the item. And one night, he decides he's going to go on YouTube Live and actually film himself drilling into it. This is what happens.
Alright guys, it's showtime. Gonna take this drill. We're gonna see what we can do here. Make sure the bit's tight. Everything ready. I didn't find gloves, which is okay, but anyway, I'm just gonna not use gloves. And yeah, I think we're ready to go. Gonna hold this in my hand. What is happening? Yeah, I'm so nervous about this, guys, but anyway. Yeah, can I open this? Wow, is this a bad idea? It does have power. It's in Milwaukee. Look, it's full. Wow. Anyway, I guess we'll begin. I'm gonna go right in a hole there. Is this a good idea, guys? So over here, everybody says do it, say don't do it. Sponsor, there is no sponsor. I hope somebody will at least save this in case I die. It's just making me feel bad already, but anyway. We'll start on one. Well, we can't put it in one. I guess we'll start at two. What is that? What is that? No, I'm sorry.
So you saw the blue light I pointed out, right? The one reflecting off the apparatus that made him turn around? Well then, that blue light shines directly at him. What I believe that could be is Cherenkov radiation. That's the radiation produced by nuclear reactors. Now the blue light won't hurt you. It's literally just light. but the situations where it appears are extremely dangerous, because the blue glow only shows up when high-energy charged particles are ripping through something like water, which almost always means there's powerful ionizing radiation present. Here's when it could hurt someone, but not because of the glow, because of the radiation that causes it. Cherenkov light means there are fast electrons, gamma rays, neutrons, and beta radiation present. These radiation can cause radiation burns, acute radiation syndrome, cancer, cell death, immediate seizures, and nerve damage. It can cause damage to your DNA, radiation sickness, and in lethal doses, immediate death. And I have a feeling this is what happened to our friend here. The Romanian stone giant, a sleeping colossus hidden deep in the mountains of Argeș County, Romania. There's a formation locals have whispered about for generations. They call it the stone giant. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than a natural cliff. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. A massive stone arm carved into the mountain. A ribcage-like shelf stretching unnaturally straight. And behind it, a wall of rock that some say resembles the torso of a sleeping colossus. According to Romanian legend, the ancient land was once ruled by a race of Urasi, giants who lived long before recorded history. And many believe this cliff is not just shaped like a giant, but is the fossilized remains of one. Workers who visit the site claim the stone giant is part of a triangular power grid of ancient power points, connecting Corbi de Piatra with the rock sanctuaries of Nămăiește and Cetățuia. They say the giant still sleeps inside the stone, that the formation radiates an energy unlike anything else in Romania. Whether it's a natural oddity, a forgotten monument, or the weathered body of something massive left behind by a civilization we've lost, one thing's for sure, the stone giant of Romania is one of the strangest formations in Europe, and it's hiding its secrets in plain sight. What do you think? Ancient giant or just a mountain? But there is a deeper story of the Romanian stone giant. It's the legend of the sleeping Uriaș. Long before Romania was Romania, long before the Romans or the Dacians, the land was said to be home to a race called the Uriași, colossal beings who shaped mountains like clay and carved entire sanctuaries with their bare hands. One legend said the stone giant at Corbi de Piatra was a protector of the Carpathian people, the giant who refused to kneel. His name was Fărămătorul, the Crusher. He stood guard over the entrance to a massive underground realm beneath the Carpathian Mountains. That realm, according to village folklore, was a network of tunnels stretching across ancient Europe. When foreign invaders came, described as men of the sun with iron faces, possibly Romans, the giant refused to kneel or swear allegiance. Rather than be captured, the giant called on the spirit of the mountain for protection, and the mountain answered. The earth opened up beneath him. Stone climbed up his body like armor, and he sank into the cliffside, becoming one with the rock. The overhanging arm you see? Locals say that's the last piece of him still exposed, the arm he raised in defiance. Then there's the curse of the sleeping ones. Another legend says the stone giant is only sleeping. The Uriași weren't killed. They were put into a stasis, hidden, buried, turned to stone, until the world needed them again. This belief is still alive today among mystics who visit the site. Many claim the rock formation breathes or pulses at dawn. The energy there is heavier on the right side, where the giant's heart would be. People who meditate beneath the ledge feel a thundering vibration. They say the giant is part of a triangular energy grid known as the Initiatic Triangle. And that system represents the body of the giant, the physical realm, the guardian, the protector. The Pelasgian connection. Some claim the cliffs were carved by the Pelasgians, an ancient pre-Dacian civilization said to be taller than normal humans. Master stoneworkers connected to the giants of Europe, descendants of the Atlantean refugees. Romanian traditions even say the Pelasgians did not build monuments, they revealed them by carving away the excess stone, meaning the giant shape wasn't built. It was uncovered. But there is a modern mystery in recent years. Romanian researchers and explorers have documented unnatural straight cuts in the rock, a perfectly level, horizontal ledge that looks engineered, a gate-like carved niche that leads nowhere, unusual magnetic readings around the cliff face. Many believe the entire area wasn't just a sanctuary, but a megalithic fossil of something ancient. Some say it's a giant's petrified body. Others say it's the entrance to an underground complex that has been sealed for millennia. Either way, the site is unlike anything else in Europe. To this day, it drives thousands of tourists a year and leaves the onlookers baffled, wondering what could be the truth behind such an ancient monument.
Would you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
You bet your sweet ass.
Okay, put your left hand on the Bible. Put your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand and say, I, Edgar Mitchell,
I, Edgar Mitchell,
affirm,
under
penalty of eternal damnation,
I don't believe in that, but penalty of eternal damnation,
that I walked on the moon on Apollo 14.
that I walked on the moon on Apollo 14.
Well, you know, you're the first astronaut to do that. We asked 6 other astronauts to swear on the Bible, and they refused to do it.
Well, I don't particularly like to take oaths like that either, because I don't accept the Bible as a gospel of anything except a historical record. But we did go to the moon. You bet your sweet ass we went to the moon. Okay, turn off the camera. Your interview is done. I've given you all the time I'm going to give you.
Okie dokie. Good to meet you.
I don't say it's a pleasure.
Understand.
Please get your ass out of my house.
Okay.
And you came here under false pretenses, and I think you're an asshole.
Well,
And if you continue this, and if you press us, I will personally take you to court.
I hope that you do. I invite you to. I'm going to give you my card so you can arrange that. And I'm encouraging you to arrange.
You're frankly not worth it.
No, we have you on the record saying you'll take me to court. I hope you do. Because we have proof that would prove it in a court of law that Apollo 11 didn't go to the moon. And I think it's something that you should see. I don't say that lightly, believe me. I don't say it lightly.
You have joking, sir. People can have fun. And maybe do that if they feel like they want to have a little fun on a trip to the moon. And as an independent producer,
Okay, we're heading out.
doing that is against moral ethics.
Lying about going to the moon is a satanic lie of gigantic proportions.
I don't hit people, but you're going to be on the deck unless you get...
I'm heading out. I appreciate it.
And get the hell out of my house. You ever get a gun and shoot them at them before they get out of the office?
We have a video camera running if you want to do it.
Right.
That would be great footage for us. See you later. In court, I hope.
You want to call the CIA? Have them whacked.
Buzz Aldrin Q&A with Oxford Union Society, June 2015.
Go to the lady in the second row, just there with blonde hair. And we'll go to the gentleman waving his hand afterwards.
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest. It didn't happen. It could have been scary. Circuit breaker.
The circuit breaker in the pen?
Oh, I'm glad somebody helps me.
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself.
Away from me.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator in NASA? We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight.
You want me to knock you in the head?
Well, I want you to swear to God on the Bible that you walked on the moon.
Okay.
If you walked on the moon, we're given the opportunity to swear to God that you walked on the moon.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to get the hell knocked out of you if you don't leave me alone.
So why don't you just put the end to the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Cybro, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Well,
Take your stuff and get the fuck out. Why don't you quote me and say it's bullshit?
And the shadows in the wrong place. I don't give a damn about all that shit.
You're full of shit.
of lunar orbit being falsified.
Being falsified?
Correct. We got an unedited tape from a source at the Johnson Space Center.
Totally nonsense.
Mr. Cybro, you do not deserve answers.
If you show this publicly, you're open for a lawsuit.
Okay?
Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, he flew 1,200 miles with the wind in his back into the inside of this planet. Not a molten core, far from it. Continental shells bigger than on the surface, seas that were equal to ours, and he took 300 photographs and brought them back, and I tried to see them, and Franklin Birch, who was at the National Archives, would not let me in. Oh, I got in the cage, but I couldn't look at anything. Caldwell found those records and read them in 1940, and he took his round-wing plane in and went right through the Earth and came out at the South Pole in a 125-mile opening there. That's one thing he did. I told you that was 1940. That was a great accomplishment of the round-wing plane at that point. We hadn't had to fight a war, we hadn't had to do anything. 1952, I hesitate to tell you. I've had 3 attempts on my life, and I don't know if I'll walk away from this meeting if I say any more. I've had the needle, I've been poisoned, and I've had people sent to kill me.
Hey y'all, what this dude says about giants and their relationship with native people of the land that still exists to this day is absolutely crazy. Take a listen.
There were 3 caves.
And this is where in Utah?
And somewhere in the Wasatch Mountains. We was trying to line up to take a device, you know, this recording device like this, and do research. They did. They eventually did. The guardians of the caves and the territory have been in the hands of the Native American in that area for hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands of years. They are taught, they are visited quite often, as they said. These people are not, fringe, what I call fringe thinking. They're very solid. They believe in the Great Spirit. A very solid practice of treating one another here correctly, how you'd want to be treated. The caretakers, as they're called, are visited by these extraterrestrials. But there's some big graves up there with people 7 feet and over. Blonde-haired, red-haired, light-skinned, fairly well preserved. I mean, you know, where do they come from? I don't mean there's just one out of many.
Have you seen these, or did you go?
I've seen pictures of them.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw it. They brought back still pictures. Not only did they do video, they brought back still pictures. So how they opened up these caves, they look just like mountains. I don't know, who knows? I don't know, but they got in there. Yeah, there's technology, weapons or things that can heal. There's spacecraft, so I'm told. But this travel stone came out of one of them where ancient records are kept.
Here's a picture of Mars. By the way, this is not a professional tape. As you can see, these pictures are in a picture album. And I've just got my camcorder out, and Wendell and I are flipping through the pictures. So this is not a produced tape for you to look at. So it'll probably never be on the market, but at least you get a chance to see some of these pictures. This is Mars just from a different direction with the sun very bright on it. Now, here is Mars, but here's one of these satellites. It's in orbit around Mars, made on Earth, unannounced, and is in orbit. This is the spring of 1976. And this device is in orbit around Mars. I don't know exactly who made it or who put it up there. Here's another one. This is Mars again. And here's the light panels, solar panels, and the satellite equipment in orbit around Mars again. This is a different one. This is a dust storm on Mars. Billy wanted to get close and try to take pictures of artifacts. You've all heard about some of the Sidona Plaza on Mars, about the face on Mars that Richard Hoagland and other people have been looking into. Billy published a paper back in the 70s talking about that. There was a race of people lived on Mars. They had a terrible catastrophe about 186,000 years back. At the time, there was about 40 million people killed on Mars, and they're all gone now, of course. So there were societies there, and we will find quite a few remains of their civilization once we get up there. Here he's on board one of their large motherships. This is the side or the edge of a saucer that was parked inside as he was walking by it. Here's Jupiter. Here's the mothership in orbit. They're flying into it to go aboard. It was 17 miles high and about 10 miles in diameter. He spent 3 days on it. They went to different places in our galaxy to show him around. This was the craft that was right in front of him as they were flying into it. He took a picture of that one. Here, again, is back at Mars. These aren't in any particular order. Here's another object in orbit around Mars. And look, here's an American flag on it. So there's a couple of things that they put up there that the military's put up that we don't know about. This is a picture of Billy in a suit. He's on a prehistoric planet to see the dinosaurs. He's got a breathing apparatus on. This is a Pleiadian man. And they've stepped outside of the ship so he can see the animal life on this prehistoric world. Got his picture taken, too. That's pretty good. This jumps back here to, remember the Apollo-Soyuz hookup, us and the Russians back in '76? Billy asked him if he could go up and watch it. They said, okay. They took him up. There's several pictures here of the Apollo-Soyuz hooking up with Earth in the background. Some of the wildest pictures he's got. I mean, vantage point, the planet's in the background. How else would you get this picture unless you were up there at that particular vantage point? Not a lot of people have that in their photo albums, you know. You can imagine the people at NASA would crack up, you know. They'd probably find it a little hard to believe at first, but they don't have pictures like this. Here it is when it's just hooked up. There's Earth in the background, and here's the two capsules coming together. This is the top of the mothership. There's windows, but there was nobody in the windows as they came into it. We really missed out here. Billy shot, he said, 3 or 4 rolls of film inside the mothership, talking to people and going up and down the halls and so forth. He lost all of the pictures. They were all stolen from him. We've only got 2 or 3 of them left, and they're really practically nothing. This is a prehistoric Earth. They're back in time. That's Earth in the background. That's a moon in front of Earth, and he's looking over the surface of another moon. At that point, they told him there were 2 moons in orbit around planet Earth. We think we're about 60 million years back. Here's another picture over the surface. Neither one of those moons is currently the moon that's in orbit now. The moon that's in our orbit now, they say, has only been there around 5 million years. Look at this one. This is another piece of equipment in orbit around Mars, and it's huge. It's like a space station. And it's in orbit around the planet. It's also from Earth. We haven't heard anything about that, have we? Here's the dinosaur pictures. Billy's back inside the ship, and there's a viewing screen in the craft, and he says he's taking these pictures. Here's our first dino. He's got kind of gold-brown skin, got large hind legs, short forelegs, and a head that looks kind of amphibian, like a vegetarian type. Here's the second one. There's a bird here apparently dropping some food or something. Is that Charles? Charles dropped his food. This one's pretty hard to see. Here's the head of some sort of creature crashing through some bushes here. It's hard to tell. I know it's probably hard to see these anyway from back there, but just the idea that someone could actually go back in time just really gets my brain going. There's a bird. There's his eyes, some pretty nasty looking teeth. And the last picture after this one is the strangest of all. It's a plant that has an insect head. Billy calls it a plantum. They were trying to explain to him how the evolution of different life forms goes. How, for instance, here's a plant life when the plants are the food kingdom of the world. When the plants evolve to a certain level of evolution, then these lower order forms, here's a small head, and this head is part of that plant. There's these 2 little eyes. It's an insect, the beginning of insect life on the planet when the food kingdom has evolved high enough. There are 7 different stages, they say, of spiritual energies or creational energies on a planet that create the many different kinds of life forms. There's a transition from one kind to the next. Ours is the 7th or the last one. We have to wait until the animal kingdom has raised the evolution of the body material high enough.
So the photos in this video are supposedly from Billy Meyer, a gentleman who claims he had contact with aliens, the Pleiadians to be exact, and he time traveled with them, and they took him around the galaxy, showing him other planets like Mars, and the story behind Mars, or a life form on Mars. Plus, he got to go back and see dinosaurs that were 60 million years in the past. I know a lot of it's been debunked, but just like everything, it always gets debunked. This video, though, actually shows more of the photos I've never seen that are not circulating online. So whether it's true or not is up to you. It's kind of up in the air. I know he has been debunked, but they always debunk everything that has any significance. So take it with a grain of salt, but also take the debunking with a grain of salt as well. They could have easily fabricated the pictures of the dinosaurs that he shared and made them look like they were in a magazine. That's easy to do. And also, he could have done the like. He could have actually copied the photos from the magazine. So it's either way. But I personally believe that he did do some sort of possible traveling with aliens like the Pleiadians. You saw that picture in there. That was a very unique, odd picture. Could he have made it a set? Sure, he absolutely could have. But nevertheless, some of the photos, they look to be possibly authentic. I mean, how do you fake the satellite photos and the photos showing the planets? And a lot of them look like half-domed planets or firmaments above these planets. So, like I said, it's up to you to decide. I'm kind of more like 75-25 that it's real. But nevertheless, you be your own judge. But I did want to talk about the very last photo of the creature that they said looked like a plant with a head. This one, to be exact. That reminds me of a story, because to me, it looks more like it's possibly a spider-like being with a human-esque head. And I can't help but remember that story that somebody posted on my Spiders in Antarctica video, where when they were a kid, this being came to visit them and said they were from another life and another time, that they wanted to see his new life form that his soul had taken. And it ended up being a female spider-like creature with a human-like head, and it was his supposed like soulmate from another life. And she wasn't supposed to travel there, but she did. These are kind of the things on this whole journey that I've been on creating content for you guys that I put certain connections to and think, wow, okay, maybe that person wasn't lying. I actually believed them in the first place. I'm not saying they were, but that person maybe was telling the truth about their experience, and that maybe Billy Meyer wasn't lying, that some of these pictures are absolutely real from another time and from another planet. These spider beings, that looks like a spider with a human head to me. It does not look like a plant. You can see the legs in the back. It looks like a spider. I think they're mistaking it for a plant. I think it was a spider. So it makes you think that maybe these photos are somewhat authentic, that maybe Billy Meyer's experience was real. So yeah, just makes you think. And I do this all the time, where I'll learn something and I'll obviously keep it in the back of my mind as possibly false or fabricated. Then I'll see something down the road that connects the two subjects that I spoke on that validate them as real. Two totally separate events, right? So this happens to me all the time in this field. That's why I tend to be more open-minded and believe a lot more than most, because over my career, I've seen these connections time and time again take place, where things that I thought, no way, that's real, ends up connecting with something later on down the road that validates it. And I'm just like, wow, I never thought in a million years that could be real, but it's here, it's real, it happened, and here's the proof, you know. So I tend to be more open-minded on things because of that. So the limits that we construct in our mind on our world are just that, limits. And I've found that to reality, there are no limits. There are none. It's absolutely amazing out here, and fantastical and beautiful. And don't limit what you can believe in this world, because what you think you know, you have no idea. That's all, y'all.
You know the alien autopsy film? He was often asked if that was real. And he says, well, he can't testify whether it's real or not, but he says, let me tell you this. From an intelligence officer's standpoint, there's 3 items that whoever faked this film, if they did fake it, could not know. Number 1, there was no lymphatic system. Number 2, it had 2 brains, 4 lobes. One of the brains was laced with ICs. Of course, that was not in the film, but it did have 2 films.
What's an IC?
Integrated circuit. The other part is that it had 3 eyelids. It had the outside one that was removable, had a membrane, and then the eyeball. So Dad says, whoever faked this, if they did fake it, had the same report that he had from Walter Reed.
Do you hear that? It stopped. Oh, I don't know what that is. That doesn't sound like wind, but that's crazy. Don't know if that's a bird or I don't know what that is. It almost sounds like snakes, but wow. I've heard some weird stuff in mines, but that is definitely creepy. I don't know what that is. So let's get out of here and head back out to the portal. That was weird. I think I keep hearing something. That was strange. I hear the air blowing here. Wow. I'm getting out of here, and you can really hear that airflow. I'm getting out of here and heading home.
Noticeably scared, Jacob turned back and exited the cave, but as he was leaving, he noticed another mine he had missed and decided to check it out. Here's what he found.
I don't know why that one chain is swinging back there.
Does everybody see the paint? Yeah. Good. Whoa! When it calms down, it's better for photos. This is too much for photos. Isn't it so cool?
A giant squid or something. I'm really not too sure how big. No one else is on this whole beach, so I don't think anybody knows about this. But its tentacles are massive.